ancient monk high in the Tibetan mountains that has reached an altered state near nirvana, kind of a blob-vana, if you will. And there are rumors that he has attained a state of 0 calorie burn.
Couch body.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get myself a modem.
All right, everybody. It's Interview Friday today, and we're going to learn something about comedy with our incredible guest, Dean Lewis. Dean Lewis is somebody that I came across. He lives in Texas. He lives in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I ran across him in a workshop by the great Judy Carter. She's been on the show before. She's an incredible author, incredible comedian. She helps comedians develop their comedy, but also helps them figure out how to make money at it, because there's a lot of money to be had. And Dean is someone that works with her and someone who is a teacher in his own right. I mentioned this last week on the show, but he has a workshop that's happening right now where you write jokes, 30-day joke writing workshop. Generate up to 90 new jokes. God knows Boney could use a few jokes on this show. Gonna get him on that. Finally, Danielle says, finally, somebody funny. I know, my God. It's been a long wait, 5-year wait. Also, this is happening. I'm on the show, The Tomorrow Show. This is an epic show that occurs at the famed Elysian Theater in Silver Lake here in Los Angeles. It happens at midnight. And as you can see, I'm on the bill there. What happens in this particular version, it's called 5 Minutes or Die. Each comedian gets up there, does 5 minutes, and at 5 minutes exactly, the lights go out and the mic goes out. So you got to time it perfectly. Otherwise, you're standing up there with egg on your face, or it cuts you off in the middle of your set. So I don't know. I guess I'll be like with a stopwatch timing myself tomorrow. But anyway, join us. It's only $10. It's at midnight. Take a nap. Take a long, hearty nap. Oh man, midnight. The Tomorrow Show is hilarious. It is hilarious. Camel and I went to the 20th anniversary of this show, hosted by Ron Lynch, who's also been on Lunch Therapy. And it is amazing. Holy Todd. Oh, on the show we say holy. We don't say hi, we say holy. Unless we're talking about Boney, who's always getting high. He's not getting holy. Anyway, let's get on with this thing. I do want to thank the Patreons. Whoa! That is a beautiful song. Got this beautiful animal here sent in by one of our regulars, Jeff Lohman. He's just been buzzing the cattle there in Thailand. Thanks everybody for being a Patreon. This is how this show runs. This show cannot run without Patreons. Jay Patterson, Ivy Palma, Pam Palmieri. Pam Palmieri is a promoter in Michigan, doing comedy shows out there. Neil Phillip, Seth Ward, Jason Edelman, Mary Marks, all the Lopez's. Thank you for all that you do. Let's get into some breathing. This is my gift to you. Holy. All right. So now we're going to breathe. And the guest is in the green room with Boney. And we want to make sure that Boney doesn't give him a contact high, because it's too early for that. Holy Kamala. Todd, it's great to have you here. Behind me I have healing vibrations, some trauma therapy. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. I don't know. I thought maybe it was like alcohol that you start at like 5 or something, but apparently wake and bake is the thing around. Now that it's legal, I guess. In through the nose, out through the toes. I don't know. I don't do drugs. I don't do them. It's weird. Never too early for contact. I let them go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. That's what they say at the airport a lot. Because at the airport, you go to the airport and it's going to be 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's bellied up to the bar. Vernus is here. Hi. I'll translate. That means hoy. Hoy, Vernus. Vernus has been sending me some really interesting videos lately, and I appreciate it. TJ liked to wake and bake back in the day. Yeah, Todd and I had a friend named TJ. I wonder how TJ's doing. All right, let's get into this music. All right, this is Ananya playing a neotone. This is an electronic handpan. This is just to calm the nervous system. So excited to learn from Dean today and also just find out about his life as a comic. He really impressed me. At the end of the Judy Carter workshop that we had, she just left it up for everybody to kind of discuss comedy. And he really had a lot of really interesting things to say. I don't know, maybe there's hope for me. Maybe. It's like Simple Simon. Okay, I like that. Hello, I'm on Anya. No, I'm really Anya. He is on that thing like a... Oh, here we go. Singing and hand panning. That's cool. I haven't seen that yet. If you like Ananya, go to his YouTube channel. Check out more. Or get yourself a neotone. Start doing it yourself. Thanks, Ananya. Now we got to get into the interview. This is one of my favorite backgrounds now. I don't know why. Joe Fury borrowed it the other day when he went on Office Hours Live. If you haven't seen that, he made an ass out of himself, which was totally appropriate for Joe Fury. Joe Fury is a international superstar who's on the show sometimes. That's apparently his car. He has the car from the old movies of the 70s. Burt Reynolds. Yeah. Name that movie. Smokey and the Bandit. All right, so let's talk about what we're gonna do here. We're gonna have Dean Lewis on the show. He's from Dallas, Fort Worth, that area, very large area, population 7 million people, 7 million people. I've never been there, but we're going there today. And he's been making people laugh since the 80s. Started out at the Dallas Improv. Improv has various locations around the country. This is one of the big ones. Since then, he's racked up some amazing credits. He's an Emmy Award-winning writer. He appeared on The Last Comic Standing. He was on the DeGeneres show, and we're going to show a clip from that. And he also took home the title of Wendy's Clean Comedy Challenge. Those contests, man. It takes some serious joke writing to be able to win one of those. You may have seen him on commercials for Dr. Pepper, Nintendo, and in the award-winning film Shtickmen. I like that. Shtickmen. He's also sold material to Jay Leno. He's performed alongside Willie Nelson, Joan, Jett, And one of the big things that he does is he mentors up-and-coming comedians in the Dallas area. So there you go. Let's get him on here. Without further ado.
But a question to always ask yourself, this is such an important question. Where are you in the joke? Where are you in the joke? And so when you were talking about this woman who's very insensitive, this is you observing things, but it's not affecting you other than she's a coworker, but not really. Where are you in the joke? And this is why I love what Judy just did, is she took this idea and she put you in the joke. It should always be, I'm struggling. Here's my problem. Here's how this affects me. You know, always ask yourself that question when you're coming up with comedy.
Welcome to Lunch Therapy, Dean Lewis.
Joel, how are you, sir?
I'm good. We got a little delay with your video, but
Oh, no.
I'm doing great. I bet you didn't think I was going to show that clip, but you didn't even know it existed.
I had no idea. I've done so many things with Judy. It's
Yeah.
but it was a flashback, and the other comic in there is Kathleen. She's great.
Oh yeah. So that I thought that was a really good little tidbit, though. Somehow, you have been a comic for. Have you been continuously a comic for the last like 3 decades? 4
Oh,
decades?
yes,
maybe?
I have. Yeah, pretty much. I've had some side, other things came along. Like
Yeah.
one time I was actually on a morning radio show here in Dallas for about 7 years, which was great.
A lot of comedians seem to do that. They do like these morning shows. I guess it really gives you a chance to, especially back before podcasting. That was probably the thing.
Yeah, it really was. It was really fun. And by the way, I was in the back here with Boney, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna pitch to you, change his name to Bongy, because that guy is good and toasted.
I know. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I can't tell him what to do. And I've heard he hasn't hit rock bottom yet with the whole
Not
thing.
yet. Not
I mean,
yet.
he kind of, I don't know, he's sort of functional. He's a functional
Yeah.
bong head. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. I got to apologize to my guests.
No, it's cool. It's hard
Bongy.
not to get a contact high because when he inhales, it
Yes,
drifts out.
it just flows out into the room. I've been trying to tell him that, that maybe he could get some lung implants. And
Yeah,
he's like, come on, boss, with what you pay me, I can't get lung implants. That's what he says.
right. Well, by the way, thanks for all the enlightenment. I think you should call this a God cast, not a podcast, because
I like it.
I'm very enlightened and very Zen-like now.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel that way. I try to,
Yeah.
when I started the thing, this was right at the beginning of the pandemic. I was just doing that for myself because I was stressing out. And then I found that other people enjoy that as well. So it became a thing.
Nice. It's good stuff. And hi to everybody who's out there in lunch
Wait a
therapy.
minute. Holy. Holy to everybody out there.
Oh, hoy. Sorry.
Just got to get that straight because, we got rules on this show. This show's got parameters, rules, structure. Everyone knows Boney does edibles, which means that the cats are eating edibles off the floor. Yeah, it's
Funny.
terrible with all the
Yeah.
cats.
It's really funny.
So, okay, so you're doing radio. How did you get into radio? Is it a difficult field to break into, or?
I got so lucky. A lot of the stuff in my life has just been very lucky, and that's a note for everybody is, you're going to try, there's important showcases, there's people that you want to see and all that. But really, I think the only failure in stand-up is if you quit.
Yeah.
And, you just stop doing it. You just, you decide, I don't want to go up tonight, or I'm not feeling good, because you just don't know. So to answer your question, this was when I was teaching the workshop at the Dallas Improv, or at the Addison Improv. Addison is just north of Dallas. And so they would always have comics come in the morning. And, when comics came in for the week, they would put them on that radio show because it had a huge listenership. And so the manager at the Improv, Trey, said, hey, why don't you go on there and promote your workshop? I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll do it. And I went on there, and it was Jagger. Now, some of you may remember the show Change of Heart. It was a dating show back in the 90s,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
2000s.
Yeah.
So Chris or Jagger, he was the host of that. And I'm telling you that for a reason. So I go in and
Uh-huh.
it's him, and then Julie and Slim Jim, the producer is Paula. And it's just, Joel, it's just one of those things. I went in and we all just clicked so well. And
Is that him?
I was really smart in that. Yeah, there you go. Wow, you're
That's
there he
Boney.
is.
That's Boney. That's why I keep him around.
Boney's awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah, anyway.
So I go in and I just pitch the workshop. And then I had this idea as I was talking to him. I said, well, listen, if you guys want to take the workshop, I can come back every week and we can talk about your progress. And they were all for it. So now it's going to go on weekly.
Wow.
So every
Wow.
Friday I would go in. So then Jagger one day he contacts me and he says, listen, they've kind of changed my schedule on Change of Heart because what he would do is he'd leave from Dallas and go out to LA and he would tape 5 episodes in a day.
Mhm.
And they said, they want me to do that on Fridays now. So I'm going to be gone on Fridays. Would you be interested in coming in and kind of filling in while I'm gone? Because we like the energy and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah. So I did that for a couple months. And then they came to me and said, we want to put you on the show. But Jagger said, he goes, but listen, we don't have a budget for you this year. He said, so what I'm going to do for the next 6 months is I'm going to give you my bonus this year. And which was $40,000. He said, I'm going to give you
Wow.
that in every 2 weeks installments.
Yeah.
And that'll take us to the end of the year. And then next year we'll put you on contract. So I just connected with them and it was a perfect marriage, and then we did the showcase and they were all great. So, and they were very much like family. And it was perfect because at the time I was married and my wife was pregnant with our first son. And so it got me off the road. And but I will say, if you're doing morning radio, that means waking up at like 4 a.m. because you got to be on the air. You got to be there like a half hour early
Oh
because
my
you go on the
gosh.
air at 6. And then by 10, you're done. But your world is now just, so your bedtime is at like 8 o'clock at night.
Which is for a comic, it just seems like backwards, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah.
seems crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
And now you were teaching workshops by that point at the Improv.
Yeah. So here's the thing about teaching a workshop. Part of it is Judy Carter. I met Judy Carter in the 90s at there's a guy named Sam Cox here in Texas, and he did a thing called the Comedy Gym, and I took the Comedy Gym. I'm always of the opinion, you know this, Joel, probably I don't know everyone listeners a comic or not, but there's philosophy that you can't teach comedy. And I agree with that up to a point that you can't teach someone to be funny. It's like if you're not, let's say, a very attractive person, you're taking a modeling workshop, you're not going to get modeling gigs. I mean, this is not the
Yeah.
thing you're born with.
You might.
You might. So
Yeah.
when I started doing these workshops, and then I met Judy, we just connected. Again, Judy, I love Judy. In another universe, we're a
great.
happily married couple.
Yeah.
So I did a little lecture at this workshop, and she said, "Hey, would you like to come out to LA and teach for me?" I
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So I went out there for like 6 weeks, and she let me live in her beach house, and she paid me for teaching. So it was really great and so much fun. And so when I got back, I was like, I really want to do this. And this was back in the 90s. There was no comedy workshops. There was like Sam Cox again, and I had my own opinions on stuff. So that's when I just started doing it because this was my thing. And this sounds egotistical. Maybe it is.
No, say it. Whatever.
But I would see people and I'd be like, comics, and I'm like, oh, just don't do that. Or just, if you're so close, if you tried this. And so it wasn't like a money-making thing so much as just, kind of trying to help people and be a mentor, because I think if you love something, you should be as good at it as you can so you can keep doing it.
What are some of the traps that new comedians fall into, or comedians that have just been doing it for a few years that you
Yeah.
see?
These days, and even back then in the 90s, I think it's imitation.
Oh,
You see a comic and you want to imitate him. And so there's things a headliner can get away with that a beginning comic can't.
mm-hmm.
And one of the big ones is being too intimate too soon. So you've seen this, comics go on stage and like, hey, so I have cancer, or hey, I'm going through a divorce, or hey, they just share so much right away
Yeah.
that audiences are like, and who are you? I always think the analogy is true that when you go on stage, it's the same thing as a first date. And on a first date, you don't open with your most personal details. You know,
Or your biggest problems.
right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest traps is everyone wants to overshare, and you have to have a build. That would be the biggest thing. And the other thing is, you know, I'm going to ask you what your opinion is on this. I don't think storytelling is really stand up. And the reason I say that is, to me, I'm an old school person, but I think this still applies. You need to have a minimum of 5 laughs per minute. And the laugh should be at least 70% of the audience, and the laugh should be at least 2 seconds long. That's kind of the bar you're trying to set. Now, I know if you're going up at open mics and the audience is sat far away and there's only 12 of them and they're spread out, you're not going to get that kind of stuff happening, you think, but ask yourself this question. What if Bill Berg went up in that room? Or what if Tig Notaro or Taylor Tomlinson went up in that room? How would they do? So you want to be at that level as far as what you can achieve, but you don't want to do the things headliners do, which is everyone's there to see them, they know them, so they can overshare to begin with. They can tell these long stories that, you know, it's not necessarily 5 laughs a minute. It's a long winding thing, but people love being in the room with their heroes and they want to hear that story, but you're just an unknown person.
Yeah. You have to establish yourself too when you get up there, right? I mean, people are always like, oh, you know, you go to a comedy festival or something, and you're like, oh my God, everybody gets up there and says, I'm Joel and I'm from Seattle or whatever. But you kind of have to, because when you get up there, people need a kind of like point of view really fast.
I agree with that, but I also want to add this. So this is something that I teach. This is called the 3-act structure. I don't know if I talked about that the other day.
No, I don't think so.
So everyone, in my opinion, not everyone, but a lot of us, and again, this circles back to what are starting comics doing? They have what I call a 1-act structure act. And the 1 act is for the entire time, whether it's 3 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, they're just talking about themselves. Me. Well, first of all, you're mimicking what everybody else is doing. So that's nothing really unique. I mean, you may be wearing a wacky t-shirt or something, but it's still just it's the sameness.
Yeah.
And when an audience goes to see a show like an open mic and there's 30 comics and they're all me, it just becomes numbing. So the 3-act structure, my philosophy is this. If you're not well known, the better thing to talk about is the audience.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's the same, again, with a first date. If you're on a first date, if you sit down, I mean, you kind of knew each other, but now it's the first date, you're going to get to know each other. And the worst thing to do is sit down and for 20 minutes talk about, you know, I'm a motorcyclist and my dad invented the hang glider and my mom was an extra in Star Wars. I mean, it's just me. And the other person is just like, ugh. And I think it's the same with an audience of 50 strangers.
Do you think that's why people do so much crowd work?
It's why it's effective.
Interrupt you.
No, you're not interrupting me. It's your show.
Yeah, but
and Boney told me, he said, hey, if he says something, let him talk.
Thanks, Boney. Maybe he'll get lunch today.
So Act 1 is it's better to open up about them. Now, if you're taking notes, write this down. Roughly 50% of all comedy you hear in comedy clubs is always about relationships. It's usually what a lot of comics talk about. So rather than opening about your relationships, open with about their relationships. So at a comedy club, the average audience is between 21 and 35. They're mostly there for a first date, or they've been dating for a while. It skews more singles than it does married people, but it depends on the headliner. And so what are people 21 to 35 doing relationship-wise? Well, they're dating or newly married. So open with stuff like that. Here's one I do. I go, hey, it's really great being here tonight. I see there's a lot of couples. There's probably 50 couples here tonight. I don't know. But, you know, it's odd. And we got to believe this or understand this. A lot of you are having a great time, but the odds are out of 50 couples, at least 1 or 2 of you, this is your last night together.
Yikes.
Right? And it gets that, it's recognition, but people are like,
that's hilarious. your
Two couple up
last
front. I
line,
go,
too.
look at them. Don't they look amazing? But sir, you don't know. Did she come to the comedy show to have a good time? Or is she thinking, well, and after the show, I'll dump him in the parking lot, but at least he had a good time. So we don't know what's going on with anybody tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing night, but for some of you, it's the last amazing night for a while. But let's have fun. So it's all about them.
I like that.
Other than I observe that, it's not, hey, I'm going through this, me. Now, and also that kind of presents a point of view or an attitude that I'm observational, I'm a little sarcastic.
Yeah.
You're letting people know stuff. So, you know, again, if you want to write it down, relationships, theirs, not yours. Ask yourself this: what did everyone go through to get to the show?
Mm-hmm.
And what this means is, what did everyone experience within an hour of the show? So, is it bad weather?
Mm-hmm.
Is parking 2 blocks away? When you're waiting in line to get into the club, you know, across the street. I did this once. I did a show, and across the street there was a parking lot preacher. It was
Mhm.
just a guy on a box preaching
Yeah.
to whoever was walking by. But he was really loud, and everyone waiting before they came in was, you know, and he said, so long ago, but he said something along the lines of, Jesus is watching everything you do. And so when I went up, I knew everyone had heard that 50 times because he
Yeah.
kept saying it.
Yeah.
So I went up and go, hey, everybody, it's great to be here. And by the way, you better have a good time because Jesus is watching what you do.
And,
Just this huge laugh
yes.
because you're triggering recognition.
We saw
Um,
Jeff Tweedy perform at this thing called the Thing Festival in Washington State. And on the way into town, it was a small town. And on the way into town, there was a sign, this store, I guess they were big fans of his. They had a sign outside that said, Jeff Tweedy, stop in here and get some tacos because they're the best tacos anywhere. And so when he came on the stage, he was like, oh man, I had 5 tacos on my way here, you know, and everybody got it because everybody saw that thing. And so we were like with him, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So relationships, what did everybody experience? Also, is there any news story? Now, stay away from politics and stay away from tragedy. But again, I'll tell you something I did one time at the Addison Improv. This was, I think it was in 94, but I go on stage. So at the Addison Improv, there's the stage, and then on the side, there's 2 curtains. There's just 2 little curtains. So I went on stage, and Friday, early shows, 7 o'clock, 8:30 show, whatever. And I go up and go, hey, thanks so much. But before we get started, I got to check something. So I walk to one side of the stage and I look behind the curtain. Go back to the mic. Hold on. I go to the other side of the stage, look behind the curtain. Then I get back on the mic and I said, I'm just making sure OJ isn't here. This was the day of the car chase.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Huge. And again, I don't want to make these all about me. I'm just giving you
Yeah.
examples of it was news that, you know, what is a big thing everyone knows about? And just reference that. So that's what Act 1 is. And here's again something that is very true. To this day, Joel, when a comedy show starts, it's actually at an improv or a whatever, Igby's or whatever it might be. Roughly 50 to 60% of the audience has never been to a stand-up show before.
Really?
And I'm not just making that up. I've talked to 3 different club managers at 3 different clubs, and they've all agreed. They're like, yeah, it's about right.
Really?
Now, people have seen Netflix. They've watched it.
Yeah.
But as far as going to a comedy club and sitting down and watching a show, roughly half the audience has never done that before. Now, maybe in LA, it's a little bit different because it's so much
Half of them are
in the
comedians.
bloodstream out there. Right. But the thing you've got to remember is when people go to this comedy show, they don't know there's a 2-item minimum. They don't know they're going to be sitting at a table with another couple. They don't know all these things. And the other thing they don't know is that there's other comics. If they go to see Taylor Tomlinson, they think they're just going to see Taylor Tomlinson.
Yep.
And you can hear this when the show starts, like, hey, welcome to the Improv. Everybody, let's hear you. Gonna have a good time? Yeah. All right. You've seen her on this, that, and the other. Let's give it up for Taylor Tomlinson. You can feel the energy in the room. And then they say, and your feature comic, and you can feel a drop in the energy, the applause.
Yeah.
Is this guy's great? He's been on Comedy Show, Joel Marshall.
Yeah.
And then your first comic, and you can feel the audience go, "Oh, dude, there's an opening." So you go up to hostility. A lot of the audience doesn't want you to be there.
Yeah.
So couple that with they don't like you, they wonder how long is this going to be, and then you want to start talking about yourself. It's not smart.
It's not going to
good.
work. They're like,
So
oh
that's
no,
why
now I
it's
gotta
better to go, "Hey, thanks," and now hear you, and then they start liking you and laughing.
Mhm.
So that's act one. Am I going too fast? You have any questions or
No,
anything?
this is great. Keep going.
Okay. So now act two is this, the philosophy. Once you've proven that you're funny,
Mhm.
now the audience is curious about you and they want to know, "Hey, are you from around here? Are you a comic full time, or do you have a day job?" Whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Now you can start talking about yourself because they're interested and they want to know. Again, it's the first date analogy. The best thing to do is sit down and start letting the other person go. And then you're going to get laid if they start asking questions about you. I'm joking. Can we be a little crude?
This is also dating advice, by the way. This is not just
It's
comedy
also
advice.
dating advice.
It's also dating
Exactly.
advice.
This is. So when you do this is the rule to follow is called escalating intimacy.
Uh-huh.
Escalating intimacy.
Wow.
And I learned this from, in my opinion, one of the best stand-up comics that ever walked the planet. I love this guy so much, was Rich Scheidner.
Huh. I don't know.
And Ritchshyder. Rich Scheidner he was always phenomenal, always so great. He's one of those guys you're like, why didn't you become better known?
Mhm.
Why are you not at the level you should have been? Because he
Mhm.
did a bunch of Tonight shows, but this was in the late 80s, 90s when there became so many comics. Anyway, I
Yeah.
love Rich Scheidner, but he talked about that once about,
Did Boney get it right? Is that him?
man, Boney is amazing.
It's like he's in
Yeah.
the show with us too, Rich.
Oh, I love this guy, and I got to work with him a couple times, and
Cool.
there's much love to Rich Scheidner.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So the idea of escalating intimacy is don't get too personal too soon.
Mhm.
Don't tell them your most personal things. So that's act two. You can now start talking about yourself and all that. Now, act three. Here's what everyone needs to remember. The only thing the audience carries with them after your set is your closer. Kind of an oversimplification, but it's pretty true. And what I'm saying is, if you open strong, you're good in the middle, but your closer's bad,
Yeah.
they're going to think the whole thing was bad.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
If you open pretty good, you so in the middle, but you have this amazing killer closer, they think the whole thing was great.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I concern myself with when I'm doing a set is like, since it's timed, that last, when the light comes on, it seems like almost you should have, I mean, unless you're just really down to the minute, know exactly how it's going to go. You kind of, when the light goes on, you want to then have your closer.
Right.
Do you like set things up in that way? Like you have a 1 minute closer so that you know exactly how to end it? Because I have found myself like tomorrow night, I've got a thing where they're going to actually turn off the light and the mic right at 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the thing that they do. And I'm like, how am I going to do that?
So do they give you a light or anything?
I don't think they do. I think that's part of the fun of it is that, people get cut off.
Yeah.
But that's going to be tough. But in a normal, at the Improv, say, I was there a couple of weeks ago. I was doing 9 minutes and I got to the end of my set and I didn't close it that well because I did one of those, well, that's about it, or so I did one of those things that you don't do at the end of the set. Yeah. Right. I said something like, I'll end it there. I said that, which I hate that I did that, and I usually don't. But I had gotten so concerned about time that I wrapped it up early.
Well, there's two things I would say about this. First of all, you can ask for a 3-minute light. You can tell them at the door, say, hey, Mike, I need a 3-minute light.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing 9, I need the light at 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And they'll do that. But even if they don't, there's something else you can get. So you can look on Amazon or whatever. So there's these little I don't have it. There's these little vibrators, little tiny vibrators, and
More dating advice.
it's more dating advice. Yes, um, that they're little small. They're compact. You know, they look kind of like the size and shape of a eraser, a little bit bigger.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, they vibrate, so you can set the timer for 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever, and just carry that in your pocket. So when you feel the zzz, you just bam, you turn it off, and then you can do it. Because the iPhone or smartphones don't really have that vibrating thing.
Yeah.
And so you can get one of those for like 20, $25. And so you can always, you know, as you're on stage, you know, sometimes you plan on doing these 10 bits. I've got 9 minutes, these 10 bits.
Yeah.
But then you're at the sixth bit because it's just been going so well.
Yeah.
You got to go to your closer bit. So now you don't do bits 7 and 8. You just 9. You just jump to the 10th bit.
That's what happened to me the other night. I was like, I was really taking my time, and it was really like working, and people were really laughing, you know, kind of on top of laughing. That I only did like half of my set, you know. So then I got to that place.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll end it there, you know. And I ended it on a pun, which was really like probably not the most powerful joke, you know what I mean? It was just like a pun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so sorry that happened. But you know, I look at
No, but it was
set
fine. But still, yeah.
Looking back, the best sets I've ever had were the worst ones, because that's where I learned, that's what I challenged, that's where I grew. So it's always I frame it as a gift.
Yeah.
But for this third act, so here's something I would tell everybody to write down. Go ahead.
Yeah. Third act. I want to hear it.
This is called, the concept here is called comedy plus.
Yeah.
Comedy plus. And so the plus is, what else can you do besides be funny? Can you sing? Can you do a magic trick? Can you do some kind of improv game? Do you have some killer impressions? We'll save those for the end. Comedy plus. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of the 2 best closers I've ever seen. One was a guy named J.J. Wall. He ended up becoming a television writer. But Joel, and he was a headliner. So his closer was like about 10 minutes before the show was up. You know, they'd give him a light, and he would go, "Hey, so you guys have been great," and he's killing everything. You know, and the audience is on his side. He goes, "But I just want to find out all about you. So what's your name, Joel?"
Yeah.
Wow, how did you find that? Boney's amazing.
Boney's
I've been looking
really good. He's just like,
yeah. So he'll say, "Hey, what's your name, Joel? Hey, Joel. So, Joel, what was the first girl you had a crush on? Go back." And you're like, "Oh, it was Tammy." Okay, good news. "Hey, what's your name?" Sam. "Hey, Sam. So, what's your favorite thing to do on the weekend?" And he makes a joke. You're like, "I like to sleep in." "Okay, thanks, Sam." So the audience is wondering, where's this going? So he talked to 20 people, 20, because I would watch and I would count 20 people, and he'd get their name and fact about them. He'd get their name. This is my son's cat. She always wants
nice.
to be
We love cats on the show. I have 4.
Okay. So he got 20 people, and then he got their names or their facts about them.
Yeah.
And then he would say, "Do you guys like rock and roll, country, or the blues?" And usually they choose the blues. He goes, "All right, well, you guys have been great. I want to leave you with this." So then the blues would start playing, dun 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 bum 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 dun 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 dun, and he go dun 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 dun. Go, a guy named Joel, dun 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 dun. Right now he's married to Sammy, dun 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 dun. But the heartaches from 3rd grade, dun 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 dun. He got dumped by Tammy.
No
and he had
way.
A joke about every single person.
What the heck?
He remembered the name, he remembered the fact, and he wrote a joke about every single person.
Holy crap.
Standing ovation every show. Now, not to discount what he's doing at all, but really this is just an improv game.
Yeah.
He took that improv game and made it his 3rd act. The other one that was great was Kevin Meaney. I don't know if you know him. He was really great. Passed away not too long ago. It was just really fantastic. But his closer was, they played We Are the World, and he acted out each person.
Really?
So when Michael Jackson was singing, he put on Michael Jackson's glasses. When Bob Dylan was singing. He put on like a little, like he just acted out every
And
single
everybody
part.
knows that too. I mean, from when we were growing up and that was on, we
Yeah.
all, because a lot of us, we were like, who's that guy? Like Bob Dylan would come on and you'd be like, who's that guy and why does he sing like that? You know what I mean? Like, and we knew the phrase that they sang too, you know, so that would be
Exactly.
really recognizable.
So the recognition was amazing, but every time he did this, and by the way, so throughout his entire act, he kept talking about his mom was always afraid he would do something and put his eye out. She's like, don't do that. You'll put your eye out.
Yeah.
So at the very end of this song, he grabs the glasses to ask somebody out and he pokes himself in the eye.
Ah.
So he closes on a callback.
Yeah.
Standing ovation. You know, this was back in the day when I was bartending at the
Yeah.
Dallas Improv, and the Improv used to be open 7 nights a week. Monday nights was called the Best of Dallas, so it was local comedians going up. But then they'd bring comics in Tuesday through Sunday, and usually Tuesday and Wednesday were lighter as far as attendance. But Kevin Mean, he would sell out every show, and a lot of it was people were coming back to see that. They would bring their friends to come see it.
I bet. And
That's an act 3. That's a closer.
wow.
Now I'm setting the bar very high. None of you have to do that, but it's just what can you do?
Well, there's like Darren Carter. I don't know if you know Darren Carter.
You don't.
But he does a thing where he says, "I like my women like I like my," and then he has the audience say, scuba suit, and and then he has a pun a joke that he says.
Yeah.
Slippery when wet, something like that. And then he does sound effects. He's a beatboxer, and it's a huge crowd pleaser. As soon as he starts using that microphone like that, and then everybody is all throwing out lines and stuff. Yeah.
I love it. So that's the 3-act structure, So now everybody's out there is doing comedy. This is an exercise you can do. I say that you can go get. Oh, is that the guy?
That's Darren Carter. He has a flashlight too that he puts.
Oh,
on
I do
the
know
audience.
who he is.
Yeah, you've seen him,
seen
I'm sure. Yeah, he's good.
Go buy a packet of index cards that come in different colors. Go buy a packet of that.
Okay.
Like it's red, green, blue, yellow.
Like this, perhaps?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
You mean like this?
Exactly that. Now, pick one color to be your act 1, one color to be act 2, and one color to be act 3.
Okay.
So let's say it's red, blue, and green. Those are your 3 colors.
Okay.
So on the red, write down the title, not the whole bit, just write down the title of everything that is an opening piece of material.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On the green, all your act 2, but look at it as far as escalating intimacy, stack it up in terms of escalating intimacy. And then what could be your closers? And by the way, again, I'm setting the bar so high. You don't have to do something that's just like, I could never do that. Act 3 is just, what is your funniest bit?
Yeah, yeah.
That could be your act 3. But now put this all out on a table and you'll begin to see where you need to work on, because one of the things we all struggle with is, what do I write about today? Well, I'm very weak on act 1. So what are things people want to talk about? Relationships. Let me go on the internet and say, what's trending as far as relationships? Oh, there's a new thing where, I'm just making this up, but a new thing is, dating, going to hospitals as a dating place. Or maybe Home Depot. Home Depot is the new dating location everyone's going to.
Mm-hmm.
So that could give you an idea of, someone mentioned Darren Brown. I love magic too. So John Wood, Mass. I'm not supposed to have a favorite, but you just won the.
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So you could go on stage and do like, hey, everybody, I don't know, how'd you all, it's weird how people meet. People are meeting at Home Depot now. It's the big hot trend. Something like that. One other thing I forgot to mention. So this is a suggestion. It's not carved in stone, but for the 3-act structure, use the guideline of 20-60-20.
Yeah. Oh.
20-60-20 means the first 20% of your time on stage is act 1, 60% is act 2, last 20 is your act 3. So in a 10-minute set, it's 2-6-2. But if your closer is only 30 seconds long, then you're not going to do it. This is again why it's just a guideline. But you don't want to spend the whole half of your set talking about them. They do want to know you. They do want to find out about you. but it's just better to warm them up. You're not the headliner. They didn't come to see you. And when you're interesting to people, then they want to listen. And the way to make someone interesting is to ask them what's interesting about them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Wow, that's great.
last thing I'll say is, if you're working somewhere, even if you're getting paid, I would suggest this.
Yeah.
If you're not the opener, I'm sorry, if you're not the headliner, then I'm a big fan on helping to seat the room.
Oh.
So an open mic and what is the difference between, to me, an open mic and a showcase? A showcase is, it's people who are experienced and they're not trying out material,
Mm-hmm.
but you're probably not getting paid, and it's just a showcase of talent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing an open mic or a showcase, or you're working at a club, meet and greet people as they come in. Why you want to do this, first of all, it lets them know who they're going to see, and you're packing the audience with your fans because they like you, because you spent time with them.
Yeah.
So rather than sit in the back and smoke your e-cigarette and go through your notebook and go, oh, things aren't happening, I say, go help seat the room. Don't have this. I'm not picking on you if you do this, but it's kind of a diva attitude of like, I will not be seen until I enter the stage. I think just go out there and hang and say, hey, and they buy their tickets, go, hey man, my name's Dean. I'm one of the comics tonight. I'm just curious, what brings you guys out tonight? Oh, well, it's our 15th wedding anniversary. Oh my God, what is the gift for 15th? It's paper. Oh, that's cool. What's your name? Bob and Sally. Hey, do you guys have any kids? Well, I've got 2 kids from a first marriage, and she's got 3 from a second. Wow, you guys are great. And the other thing is, because you're talking to them and you're nice, everybody knows this. Nobody wants to sit up front because of the fear that the comic's going to pick on them, or they don't want to be a part of crowd work, right?
Yeah.
But if you talk to them and you go, well, hey, listen, I love you guys. I want you to be up front. Will you be my friendly faces? I'm not going to pick you on anything. I'm going to put you the best seats. Are you guys cool with that? So now imagine you did this to 5, 6, 7 tables.
Yeah.
And when you walk on stage, they're going to be, all right, Joel, yeah. Versus, all right, who's this guy?
Yeah, right. They already are friendly with you. And it's weird because sometimes your impulse is like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm special, so I'm in the green room. And then when I come on stage, it's like, they haven't seen me, like, cause for a play, I remember this though. Val Kilmer did, Mark Twain at the Pasadena Playhouse. And we went and saw him. I was like, Mark, he's doing Mark Twain. So Camel and I, my wife and I, went there, and he hung out in the lobby before the show as Mark Twain and was talking to everybody. And I remember thinking it was so strange, but it was so cool, because then when he was on stage, you had already like kind of hung out with him, and then he hung out afterwards too. And it was a really special experience. And I think that's what you're talking about.
You're on stage, you're performing, and it's a special thing you're doing.
Yeah.
But people want to be included. And where I learned to do this is from Mick Jagger.
Really? Mick Jagger?
I saw this was in the 90s. It was on MTV or something. And, here's the thing Mick Jagger would do. I don't know if he still does it. But the night of a Rolling Stone concert, about an hour or 2 before the concert, he would actually go out, and not even really disguised, and he would walk across the street and talk to the scalpers. And he would go to the people that are selling merch. And he was asking them, hey, what's the audience like? And what are you getting for tickets? And he was so hands-on and involved before the show. And people, imagine you're wanting to see the Rolling Stones. You've been a fan for 50 years, whatever. And suddenly there's Mick Jagger when you're buying an illegal t-shirt. And he's like, hey, what are you going to do with the tape? Like, you're like,
no way.
What an experience. Yes, that was the interview. I wish I could find it.
Oh, that's
but
great.
That's the thing he would do. He
what
would
a
walk
great story that is. So I want to play this real quick, because it relates to what we're talking about.
And I'll tell you all one exercise. Call it the 50 set challenge. So for the next 50 times you go up, for the next 50, I don't care if it's open mics or you're working somewhere, you have to stand around after the show and you have to talk to people, and hey, thanks for coming out and glad you enjoyed the show. Don't just shout this out to them, but you ask if you say, so what are you going to tell people about me tomorrow? If you tell somebody about me, what are you going to tell them about me? But after 50 sets, you look for what is the thing that keeps coming up again and again and again. So then after 50 times, you're beginning to see what is my voice, what is the thing that people find me, what do I appeal, how do I appeal to people? What is memorable about it?
Oh, that's really interesting. You know, you never think to talk to. I remember doing a show at the Ice House, and one of the comedians was, "Let's stand outside the door when everybody leaves and thank them for coming." And we were all like, "What?" And and the guy was like, "No, this is a really good thing. They'll really appreciate it." Sometimes I think you're afraid of the audience, especially when you first kind of start doing comedy. You're afraid of hearing what they think. But
And
you're
it's
like saying,
also, if
interview
you had a
them.
bad, yeah, if you had a bad set, it's hard to do that. But, you know, a lot of times a bad set in your mind is not what the audience experienced.
Yes, right. That's so true. And I think that's also one of the mistakes that new comedians make is they think they know what the audience is thinking. And sometimes they punish them for it. And the audience is like, that's not what we're thinking. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, just hang out and talk to people after the show. And it could be that, you know, there's you and five other comics, and as the audience walks out, they all kind of avoid eye contact, but that's telling you something too.
Yeah.
Um,
That's telling
so
you
I'm very
something
big on,
painful.
yeah.
But
But
at
this
least you
comes
know.
from, at least you know,
Yeah.
but someone may say something that's so insightful or changes your world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, where this all comes from too is if you've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World, every ride has a 3-act structure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you go to the Haunted Mansion, while you're waiting in line, there's the tombstones, there's the creepiness of it all, right? That's act one, it's
Yeah.
anticipation. Act two is the ride. And then every Disney ride, when it's over, where do you exit through? The
The
gift
gift
shop.
shop.
So it's the, hey, take something with you to remember this experience.
Yeah. You know, I think even roller coasters have a 3-act structure. If you
Yeah.
look at roller coasters, like sometimes you can get on them, you can do them virtually online, and they have it tells a story. Like it's a
Mhm.
weird story. It's a twisty,
Right.
windy story, but it's got 3-act structure. You know, the hill that you go up, and then the
Yeah.
drop is like into the second act, and then at the end, like it smoothly like brings you around and then takes you to the station. You know?
You get it, man. You're going to start seeing this everywhere now. Now, when you're like, you know, brushing my teeth is a 3-act structure.
Totally. It's true though. But I think that's you were talking about storytelling and how maybe it doesn't have a place in comedy. Um, it might if you could do it in this method that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
And let me
because
clarify that, because
yeah,
that's the big trend right now is everyone wants to tell stories, which is great.
yeah,
But if it's not at least 5 laughs per minute,
yeah,
and if it doesn't have this is my biggest thing I noticed. If there's not something that was worth waiting 2 minutes to hear, it's not a good story. So in
yeah,
other words, it's this 2 minute long, interesting story, but then it ends on a very weak joke, or, you know, it ends with the comic going, well, I guess you guys had to be, you know, that's not good. It's got to end with, wow, that was worth waiting for. I can't believe that happened.
mm, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then another thing I teach in the workshops all the time is, if everyone wants to write this down, you know, it goes like this: we're not newspaper reporters, we are comedians.
yeah,
We are not newspaper reporters, we are comedians. And what that means is a newspaper reporter is supposed to get all the facts. It's supposed to be true to what exactly happened.
hmm,
But we can enhance or change. So if you've got a story and it's working really well, but the ending isn't working, get out of your head of, well, that's not really how it ended. Then
yes.
make something funny at the end happen. The audience doesn't know that you're lying.
Or maybe they do and they're okay with it.
They're
You know,
okay with it.
they're
Yeah.
okay with it. Like maybe your ending to the story is absurd, but they're like in on the joke. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's probably true.
So, and I say this too, you know, if you go to comedy shows, watch the headliners through the 3-act structure and see how many of them I don't even think they know it sometimes, but how many of them follow that type of thing?
Mhm.
And you see it again and again and again.
Yeah. I was thinking that um, that's one of the things that you get if you come at it from a dramatic standpoint, like if you're an actor or a director or something and you start doing comedy, a lot of times you already have that kind of like naturally baked in. I've had it where people, and this is not egotistical, but sometimes people will say to me, how come they gave you so much less time than the other comedians? And it's because I think if you get sucked into the actual story of the set, I'm not saying it's a story necessarily, but the actual like beginning, middle, and end, then you don't think about how long it's taking or the time. You're just in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's good, Joel. Exactly.
People are saying really interesting things in the chat room. Uh,
Roll
uh,
the court gesture, prohibited
let's see this.
consequence.
It's a response to this. Kamala, this is England. And the guy, they're talking about, they're having a whole discussion that I missed out. We're going to have to rewatch the show to hear the
Yeah.
drama that's happening. But yeah, John Woodmass is in the UK.
Oh, that's cool. Wow, you get
Yeah.
people all over.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Okay.
This has been just marvelous. I can't even thank you enough for this conversation that we
Yeah,
had
I
today.
can't believe that's an hour.
You did great. I mean, it was great. It was so interesting. It's exactly what we were saying. Like, oh my God, an hour went by. It's because I was just captivated by what you were saying.
Yeah. Well, hey, can I just say one quick thing about the 30-day joke writing
Yes,
workshop?
please. And we've got a question here. Can we take
Yeah.
classes with you?
Yeah. Well, so this workshop, it started the 30-day workshop. So every day you're going to find out about a different joke structure. And then you'll get that by 10 a.m. in the morning. And then your challenge for the day is to read that, figure out what it is, and then write 3 jokes in that style, up to 3. It doesn't have to be 3. You can write 1 if you want. And then send it to me, and then I'll give you some feedback. There it is. Yeah. So every day you get a new assignment. You get a new thing. So this started on Monday, and it's going to go till September 30th. But it's not too late to sign up for it. So if anyone, because someone was asking, do I teach workshops? If anyone wants to sign up for this, Dean at deanlewiscomedy.com, you can sign up, and then you can start today's lesson. You'll get all 30 lessons. So the 5 you've missed, you'll get those too. But just start writing to today. And then the other ones after the 30 days, if you want to then make it like you still got 30 days to write everything, but you didn't follow on day 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's starting 5. So you can still send me those jokes later. Or I had someone sign up the 3rd day and they wrote jokes for all 3 days and they sent them all. So it's up to you. This is supposed to be fun and open your mind. And then tomorrow we're going to do a 1-hour Zoom meeting, which if you can attend it, it's at 4 p.m. Central Time. So everyone who's signed up, you'll all get the Zoom link. And then that's a chance for you to see who else is doing this, ask me questions, and maybe pitch a couple jokes.
That's great.
So I'm doing that right now. As far as, one-on-ones, that's what I call them, one-on-ones. You can sign up for one-on-ones with me if you want. A one-on-one, it's $125 for an hour. You can sign up for 4, and then that's just $400 for all 4 of them. And that's just you and I working on whatever you want to work on your act, on questions you have or whatever you want to do. And those don't have to be every Tuesday at noon. It's pretty flexible when you do it. The only thing I ask is you get the 4 lessons done within 3 months. Yeah. Because I learned this early on. I would do it, and then literally, Joel, I had someone 1.5 years late going, "Hey, can I do my 4th one now?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Like, are we married now? What's going on?
What's going on? So thanks for letting me do that plug. And because someone had asked, yeah, you can, Dean at deanlewiscomedy.com, you can text me with messages or questions, or if you want to sign up for the 30-day or the workshops, let me know. That's awesome. But anyway, man, I'm hogging the time and I don't want to make you go beyond schedule.
No. We're just going to do a dance break and then we'll be out of here. I'm going to play my favorite dance break, Michael J. Gonzalez, short little thing.
Okay.
And we'll get up. But thanks everybody for the great comments. There's no website to sign up. You just send to Dean at deanlewiscomedy.com. Very personalized, very hands-on. All right, let's get this thing going. Dance break.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna ride till we fall. They say we got no future at all. They wanna keep us out, can't hold us down anymore. Gonna ride till
This is our closer.
When we hit the bottom, nothing's gonna stop us. Climb to the top with you. We could be the greatest ones who ever made it. Yeah, I could be talking you. They're trying to hate, but we won't change anything at all. Oh, we're gonna rise till we fall. They think we just dropouts, living at our mom's house. Parents must be so proud, they know it all. They don't speak our language, they say we're too savage. Yeah, no, we don't give up anymore. We're gonna ride till we fall. We're gonna ride till we fall.
All right, thanks so much for being on the show. Thanks, everybody. See y'all next week for more lunch therapy.